Number 12, if we have to sell that low, we will sell it ourselves and pay 3% to the agent that sells it. Now, here's what I would do on this one. First of all, the way I'm going to acknowledge it is I'm going to repeat it in the form of a question, being dumbfounded. Okay, wait. So what you're telling me is that if you have to sell it low, then you're just going to sell it yourself and pay a 3% to an agent? And then you're just going to be quiet, right? The next person that talks on that, that's what we call you're going to pause. It's a strategic pause. And it's meant to not only draw somebody in with emotion and drama, but it's also to cue their mind that it's their turn to talk. So you're going to say that and you're going to pause, and the next person who talks is going to lose, right? So if we have to sell that low, we will sell it ourselves and pay a 3% to the agent that sells it. Wait, okay. So if you have to sell it low, you're going to sell it yourself and then pay a 3% commission to an agent that sells it. Pause. Okay, give it some time. It's going to cue into the other person, then it's their turn to talk. And then they're going to give you more information. And most of the time, it's going to restructure the objection. Well, yeah, I mean, we need to sell this home and we need to sell it and we need to make this much money. And if we have to sell it that low, then, I'm going to have to just sell it on my own. And then if an agent brings a buyer, then we'll just sell it ourselves. Now we've restructured the actual objection, right? The first objection wasn't all that complete. All it was a statement. All it was you share with them the value of their home. And they're just saying, well, that's low. I'm just going to sell it myself. And then by you repeating that in the frame of a question, they gave you a little bit more. And then in this scenario, what they ended up doing was restructuring it because they shared more information with you, saying that they have to net X amount of dollars. Now, we don't know why. We don't know if that's actually true. We don't know if that's just a want or if it's a need. Need meaning they have to net that much to actually either pay off their existing loan or buy their next house, or want because, well, they just want it, right? Well, I want the sky to be orange. We have to have a conversation with God about that one. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to do a level shift. And if you followed my trainings, if you follow my videos before, what you'll find is there's not much difference that I say depending on the rebuttal, on a rebuttal. The opening or the response might be different, but as far as the mid game, the mid part of the response, it's relatively the same. So here's where I go. All right, Mr. and Ms. Seller, I'm going to do a level shift. Mr. and Ms. Seller, I totally get that. I totally get it. Most homeowners I find want to do three things. Number one, they want to sell their home for the most money. They want to sell it in the quickest amount of time. And they want to do it with the least amount of hassle. Is that true for you as well? Okay, see how I shifted it? It was all about price before. Now I've tied it into the three common things. Look, I totally get that you want to sell it for the most money, but what I find when in speaking with homeowners, and I've sold a lot of houses, is that homeowners want three common things. Now, that is to sell the home for the most money in the quickest amount of time with the least amount of hassle. Is that true for you as well? Well, yeah, that is true for me. But, I need to sell this for the most money. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to sell it. Okay. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I totally understand that you want to sell it for the most money. Do you, if you don't mind me asking, and then I'm going to go back onto my credentials. Money aside, do you feel that I have the experience after selling, hundreds of homes in this market, and the market knowledge, again, after selling me and my company selling hundreds of homes in the market, aside from the money, do you think that I'm qualified to sell your home? I mean, if we put the money aside and all we just do is talk about credentials, do you feel that I have the credentials to sell your home? Well, I do. Yes, I do. Okay. Now I sell homes full-time. I'm a full-time real estate agent. Now there's a lot of people who sell it part-time. I don't know how they do it, but I sell homes full-time. I give it a full-time commitment because selling a home is a full-time commitment. Now, if you don't mind me asking you, do you work full-time? Yes. Okay. Now you working full-time, if you're going to look to hire an agent, are you going to look to hire a full-time agent, or do you want to work with a part-time agent who does real estate on the side? Well, no, I want to sell my home with a full-time agent. I mean, I need to get it sold. Okay, so are you going to take time off from your work in order to sell the home? Because what you would be doing is you have a full-time job, and all you would be doing is just hiring yourself as a side gig to sell your home. Do you think that you'd be able to give yourself the service that you need to sell the home? Well, gosh, never really thought about that. I just figured that if I sold it myself and offer another agent to sell the home, that, I could save on the commission. In theory, that makes a whole lot of sense. But how much is your time worth? Well, what do you mean? Well, if you agree and I agree that it takes a full-time job to sell a home and you're going to work on it part-time, do you think that possibly it might take away from time from your full-time work and then, of course, require you to work nights, weekends? Perhaps we have holidays come up. Do you think that that would be an option? Well, yeah, I didn't really think about it like that. Okay. And have you ever sold a home on your own? No, I've never sold a home on your own. Okay. So if you've never sold a home on your own, do you know the process and the legalities of actually selling your home? Or are you okay with putting yourself in that type of a legal risk? No, I don't want to do that. Okay. I totally get it. Well, look, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the home is going to sell with what the market is. So you're not selling it low. You're selling it at what the market value is. And if you don't mind me asking, if I could show you a way that it would net you more money by working with me as a full-time agent than by actually trying to sell it yourself, would you list your home with me? Well, yeah, I guess, now that you put it that way, I would. But how are you going to do that? Now, I'm going to stop right there just because of time. How are you going to show them that you're going to net them more money by selling it, by paying a full commission, by paying a real estate agent, than them selling it on your own? And guys, it comes down to time. It comes down to time, and it comes down to experience. Because most homeowners have zero clue on how to sell their home. In fact, NAR says that on average, a homeowner sells a home every 10 years. In Southern California, it's probably more like 14, but 10 to 14 years, let's just call it that. So they have no idea how to sell a home. And if they have no idea how to sell a home, if they have no idea how to price a home, if they're going to be working on it part-time, what are the chances that they're going to be able to get full-time results from that? Now, what you're going to want to do is find out what their debt service is and how much their money is worth. And if it takes them 2 or 3 months of being on the market, how much is that going to equate to in the amount of time that they put into it and lost opportunities? And then you equate that because you're going to sell it 3 times faster. And then that's how the savings is going to be. Not to mention that they don't have the legal risk that you're fully insured. You have errors and omissions insurance. You've done hundreds of transactions. You know the process. You have your vendors lined up. You have your people. You have to build up what you get. And it goes back to the value equation, right? The value equation is what you pay divided by what you get equals value. When somebody gives you an objection that if it's only on price, and they say if they have to sell it that low and then they pay another agent a commission, a buyer's agent the commission, what they're saying is that the perceived value that they see that a real estate agent is providing isn't worth, it's less than what their time is. So through your questioning and through your response and through your value proposition, you need to share with them, you need to ask those questions so they come to the conclusion that there is a lot of value that comes into it. Now, only you can do that. And you do that through practice, which is why we do these trainings and which is why we have the role-playing group. So that's how I would respond to the objection, number 12 objection. If we have to sell that low, we'll sell it ourselves and pay a 3% to the agent. Now, before I move on to the next one, I want to point out, I totally level shifted that. If you notice, what we started out with as an objection was not the final objection that I rebutted. It was just through the Q&A. It was through my questioning that I gradually went down the path, asking them about their situation and then responding to their situation. Because remember, as salespeople, we get paid to solve problems. Yes, we actually get paid when a house sells, but not selling a house or trying to sell a house, or especially in this crazy market, then you get paid more for the bigger problem that you solve. So that's number 12. Okay. So guys, that's it for today. We went a little bit over. I apologize for that, but thank you for those of you that attended this live. And if you want to catch the replay, it's going to be up on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, type in my name, Brett Matsura. You'll find it and you'll have access to all the trainings. And while you're there, please subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified of any new training. So thanks a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys at the next training.